Hello, world. I'm just going to get straight into it. I was just recording this video and screwed up royally. I don't know what I was thinking. I got tongue tied or something, mouth dry. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, um, I wanted to talk to you about a interview that I came across last week. Uh, it was on Sway's show, and it was with Dr. Angela Davis and Dr. Fanya Davis, and they were speaking on the Jussie Smollett case. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because after listening to that interview, it bothered me a lot by what the ladies were saying in defense of Jussie Smollett, combined with the real issues that we have in the Black community and the people that we've lost to police brutality and police shootings and all other negative racial things that have legitimately happened to people in our community. That does not include Jussie Smollett, which is the reason why it bothers me that these ladies continue to want to call this truth when we all know that this was an actual hoax. And for those of you who don't know, I'm going to give you a quick refresher on this topic. Back in January 2019, during one of the coldest nights in Chicago, Jussie Smollett claimed that he left his home at 2 a.m. to get a Subway sandwich. Jussie Smollett said that while he was walking down the street toward the Subway shop, he was approached by two white men who screamed at him for being Black and gay. Jussie Smollett said that the white men called him the N-word, punched him in the face, put a noose around his neck, and poured bleach on him. We don't know why they was out there. We know he was there for a Subway sandwich, and I guess they was just out just trying to catch any Black gay man out late night in the freezing cold in Chicago that's looking for a Subway sandwich. But I digress. But unfortunately, after Chicago police did investigation into the matter, they found that Mr. Smollett's claims weren't true. I will say that racism is real, bigotry is real. We know this. And if we are to believe what the media feeds us, Mr. Smollett, we didn't need you to add fuel to the flame, because whether you want to admit it or not, or whether you believe it or not, your actions had hurt the cause of two of the three groups that you belong to: the Blacks, African Americans, and the LGBT community. You use both groups to enrich yourself and to gain sympathy from the public, which is not cool. What Mr. Smollett did is no different than someone who lies on someone else and costs them their life, livelihood, or freedom. And so, without further ado, let's get into this video.
Nervous in a great way, honored to have these two pillars of the community, living legacies, wisdom keepers, trailblazers, spiritual warriors, conscious disruptors, sacred mothers of our global lands, thought leaders, powerful visionaries, transcending generations. These women I have read about. These women have been in my house.
I'm gonna say to see the full interview, you can follow the link in the link will be in the description below. But as you can see, Sway has listed off a long list of accolades for these ladies that I want you to keep in mind for later.
Told, and they don't even know it. I'm talking about Dr. Angela Davis and Dr. Fanya Davis. These people have been fighting and working for social justice for decades. They put their freedom on the line. They grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, where their friends were victims of the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. They've been associated to the Black Panther Party, Communist Party. Their work has been countering the prison industrial complex, social restorative justice for Oakland youth, my hometown. And we have them on the air with us today. I want to welcome Dr. Angela Davis and Dr. Fanya Davis to the show. Welcome. I wanted to talk, a good friend of mine, Jussie Smollett, and I'll say that, totally transparent. It's a friend of mine. I consider him a little brother. He's in a fight for his freedom. He's in a fight for his life. He's facing 6 counts of disorderly conduct of suspicion of making false reports to the Chicago Police Department. Right. This case has been ongoing for longer than I think Chicago's resources should have to be.
And again, this interview was done, I believe, a few days before Jussie Smollett was actually convicted of 5 of the 6 counts that he was charged with.
And I remember, I think it's ludicrous, in my opinion, that Chicago has enough issues in the community to be focused on other than this thing with Jussie Smollett. You signed, all right?
That's and wrote. We wrote that.
Well, so we have been friends with the Smallett family for
point. Put a pin in it. They are friends with the Smallett family. They have a history with the Smallett family. Back in the day, I can't remember, I believe it was Angela Davis who was on trial for murder. And I guess the Smallett mom held her down or had her back while she was on trial for an actual crime, being charged with something serious versus her defending her friend's son over bullshit. Let's continue.
A very long time. As a matter of fact, Jussie's mom, Janet, was involved in the effort to save my life when I was facing the death penalty. And so we have supported Jussie.
And again, I can understand these ladies wanting to stand by someone when their family stood by them during one of their toughest times. But I don't think this is the wrong time to return that favor.
From the outset. And I should also say we've both been involved in efforts to reveal the racist repression of the Chicago Police Department.
And again, as you listen to these ladies speak, they make good points. We've known, or we've heard, because I guess it hasn't been proven because nothing has happened, but for as long as I can remember, I've been hearing about how bad the Chicago Police Department is, how bad the Chicago streets are, all the things that's going on in the Chicago. There was just a movie that was done about the Black Panther Party. I forget, and she mentions the man's name in this interview, where they showed in there where Chicago police came in and assassinated the man. You have all these documents, real legitimate cases and issues and things, and for us to stand behind, but yet you choose to back a lie.
We see this whole effort as a way to once again attempt to legitimize the Chicago Police Department, and by extension,
no, you're actually trying to legitimize Jussie's hoax by grouping him in with a true black struggle.
All police departments in this country.
When you, I know in the letter, you talked about some of the things that we've seen happen in the past with the Chicago Police Department. Activists who have been killed by the Chicago Police Department. When you look at what's happening, Dr. Fanya Davis, with the way this trial is being ran, what is your view of it?
My view is that this is a trial for, in this trial, rather, for an alleged hate crime hoax. Jussie is the real victim.
Okay, again, the fact that this lady can actually curl her lips and downplay the fact that this is a legitimate hoax, and then in the same breath claim Jussie Smollett is a victim. Please explain to us, Miss Fanya Davis, how is Jussie Smollett a victim?
Jussie, an openly gay Black man who is a lover of humanity, who since a child has stood against all forms of injustice, is 3 times a victim. First, he's a victim of a racist, homophobic hate crime that
A hate crime that he committed against himself.
did occur. Second, he's a victim of a racist, homophobic, and anti-activist frame-up.
That he did to himself.
Third, and this in some ways is most hurtful for him, he's the victim of a ruthless character assassination and disinformation campaign. Unfortunately, so many swallowed the Kool-Aid.
I said that I was going to be nice, not disrespect people, because you don't have to disrespect people to prove it. You don't have to call people out their name to prove it. All you have to do is just let them talk to prove the point. And the reason why I say that is because just listening to this right now is aggravating me, because I'm big on listening to my elders and hearing what my elders have to say and learning from my elders. But Miss Fanya Davis right now is proving the reason why the youth does not want to listen to their elders. Because I've been asking this question for the longest. If we've been marching, protesting for all these years, why haven't we had the change that we've been asking for? And this interview right here is showing me why we haven't got the real change that we've been asking for, why we haven't done the things that we say we're going to do, because it's all bullshit. This right here is a bunch of bullshit. And the more and more we listen to this, the more and more you'll see the bullshit.
Chicago Police Department and uncritical media. And this has hurt him deeply on multiple levels, emotionally.
This has hurt the African American Black community and LGBT community and the white community deeply on every level, because you were causing a race and sexual preference war. You went out and lied and said you were attacked by white people who called you a nigger, and sexual slurs because you were gay, put a noose around your neck, threw bleach on you. The symbolisms that you went through, that you use, that I don't understand, that when you concocted this plan, that you didn't say, this is good for TV, but not trying to pull an actual reality. Jussie Smollett said that he was attacked by white men on the street. They came up to him. They called him a nigger. They said, talked about him because he was, a part of the LGBTQ community, and put the noose around his neck to reinforce the racism behind what it was that he was saying. He went and said the bleach because, again, for the racism to say, so these white men just so happened this night had a noose and bleach
reputationally as well as materially, in terms of lost career opportunities and income as his career was frozen for almost 3 years. This has been very, very difficult for him.
Let's be clear. All of this was about money. Jussie Smollett wanted more money. He needed to get the sympathy of the people to back him so that Fox and the producers of Empire would give him more money. This has nothing to do with him being gay, nothing to do with him being black. No white people attacked him. This had everything to do with him wanting money, more money, greed, money.
A real soul injury for him.
Money that even these race hustlers conveniently, once they receive, disappear. Because I'm still trying to figure out where are all the Black Lives Matter people. I haven't seen y'all since y'all get cast them checks.
And though he has endured great pain and suffering, he comes from a family like our family that has always stood up for truth and justice. He comes from a lineage.
If your family stands up for truth and justice, and I was a part of your family that stands up for truth and justice, because I'm gonna tell you this, my grandmother always told me that the only thing we have in this world is our name and our word. And right now, ladies, you are destroying the Davis name and the Davis word by sitting here trying to find creative ways to continue to back the never-ending lies of Jussie Smollett. I don't think my friendship is worth my reputation. Because as your friend, I would say, enough is enough. Let it go.
Lineage of justice warriors. So in spite of all of this pain and suffering, he has not faltered. He remains determined to get the truth out at trial and be vindicated. And I am confident, having gotten running accounts of what's going on in the courtroom every day, I am confident that he will be. We had a good day yesterday.
Sorry, lies, more lies. He was found guilty.
On cross-examination. So this is a racist, homophobic, and anti-activist frame-up.
This is not a racist, homophobic, or anti-activist frame-up. This is Jussie Smollett getting his just due for the lies he created.
This is a persecution and not a prosecution.
This is the one time that I think we can all agree and say the justice system works and it did its job.
To both Dr. Davises, this is Heather. Thank you so much again. We are honored to have you you both on the show today, joining us and to speak about this. What was mind-boggling to me, and just maybe I'm wrong and I just don't get it, is that there were witnesses.
No, you're wrong and you don't get it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but there were witnesses, neighbors who saw white men running with ropes and different things from.
After learning all the facts to the case, even with the Sunder Brothers, even coming out working with the prosecution and saying that they are the so-called white men who are clearly black men, real African American men, but yet you want to continually go on with the narrative that there are white men out there that did this.
A particular area, they gave statements, neighbors and different things, and from my understanding, this evidence was not.
But again, I will say, just by the way that she's asking this question, how she's trying to find the right words, trying to be nice, trying not to offend these women, because again, anybody with common sense can see that this is a bunch of bullshit, and these ladies just need to cut it the fuck out. Like this time could have been used to really back some of the real issues that are going on in our community, with some of the things that is going on right now in our community.
Allowed in court. How does something like that happen?
Well, actually, I think there's going to be some mention of one of those witnesses. One of those witnesses, the security guard at the Sheraton, who saw a white man running by who was masked.
I was going to say something, but this happened before so the mask was not a requirement.
Right near the scene of the attack. He's going to testify. He should probably testify early next week. But did we hear that from Eddie Johnson, the then superintendent, when he was, engaged in his multiple media appearances, national media appearances? He was the one who led this disinformation campaign.
First of all, the one time that this man does his job, you want to say he gets fired for doing his job. So basically what you just pointed out is Chicago was rewarding him for not doing his job. And when he finally does his job and realizes that Jussie Smollett is lying and everything involved in his case is a lie, all the facts he presented were lies. He was not attacked by white men, but it was orchestrated by him and his black friends. You know what? Let me stop before I get angry. Let her finish.
Really. And it's not surprising that he was fired not long after the Jussie Smollett case got started for lying.
And Jussie Smollett is on trial for lying. So that is funny. He gets fired for lying and Jussie's on trial for lying. Justice.
So it's really, in many ways, a credibility contest. We know that a hate attack or
liars. Then I call this karma. Police chief fired for lying and Jussie Smollett is on trial for lying and continuing to lie, unwilling to tell the truth. Like I said,
and the question is, who did it and why? And Jussie
did it. The Sunder Brothers did it. They did it together.
A black man who is a lover of humanity, who since a child has stood against all.
But question. Jussie Smollett is now on trial. The jury has been picked. I believe they've been sequestered. Nobody else need to hear anything else from this. Why are they going? Never mind. I'm sorry. It just came to answer my own question. We're not in a time where you go into a courtroom, you see a judge, the jury decides the case, everything, go through the legal court system inside the courtroom. What these ladies are doing, they want to have the trial of public opinion. When, ladies, I must tell you, whether in that courtroom or the court in the streets, we both agree on this. Jussie Smollett is
forms of injustice, is 3 times a victim.
He's 3 times the liar.
First, he's a victim of a racist, homophobic hate crime.
Why do these? First of all, this video has been going on for 27 minutes now. I have been recording for over 27 minutes now. And I've heard these ladies mention this same thing 3 times already that I can remember, and I bet you it's more.
That did occur. Second, he's a victim of a racist, homophobic, and anti-activist frame-up. Third, campaign, unfortunately, so many swallowed the Kool-Aid by Chicago Police Department and uncritical media. And this has hurt him deeply on multiple levels, emotionally.
The responses to the murders of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, the whole...
Okay. As you can see, disrespectful. Why? Why would you sit and group Jussie Smollett's hoax in with real crimes and murders that have been done to us in our community? This is not fair. This is not right. As I've stated, this is disrespectful to the memory of those who lost their lives to police brutality and racism and bigotry and everything else throughout the years and centuries.
Is now aware of the structural racism of the police department, and there have been calls for the development of new forms of security. We do not need these, racist, repressive forces pretending to guarantee the safety of.
I'm going to say, instead of saying destroy something, tear something down, how about we create the replacement plan first, iron out that plan, make sure the plan works. I would even say create the plan, run the pilot program somewhere first to see if it works, then put it everywhere before just defunding and having the issues that we have now. And we're going to get to those stories later.
Our communities. Now, in this particular case, what is at risk is not only Jussie Smollett and his life and his career, but what is at risk is
you know what? I'm going to say this. If you got to do all that, that lets me know right there from the door that this is a bunch of bullshit. When you confident in what you're saying, when what you're saying is the truth, when you believe in what you're saying, there is no need for you to sit back, to be sitting here stuttering, uchi, achi, ichi, and all that right here. This is let you know that this lady's on a bunch of bullshit. Whenever these ladies mention anything in defense of the bullshit hoax of Jussie Smollett, you see they stuttering, they're lying, they going back to their scripted narrative. Whenever these ladies are talking about something real that has happened to us in our community, like these murders and different things like that, or the real racism in the Chicago Police Department, the real injustice in Chicago Police Department, they're clear, they're articulate. When they talk about the bullshit lies behind Jussie Smollett, you get this.
The success that we've achieved in our efforts to unveil structural racism in this country. The Chicago Police Department has always been one of the worst police departments in the country. I can remember when Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were assassinated. And
here is a fact. This right here that she's saying is a fact. They also made a movie out of it. Fact.
I can remember that had not it been for a few black members of the Chicago Police Department, we never would have found out what actually happened.
And I would say this, if it were not for people recording right now, we would not know what's going on in these police departments, in these states and cities around the world and in the United States. If it were not for, as you stated, those black police officers coming forward and shedding light on the crooked men in the police department, I would say there are good police, there are bad police. There are good citizens, there are bad citizens. Difference between the two is it only takes one bad decision for a citizen to become a criminal. Likewise, it takes one bad decision for a police officer to become a criminal. Here's the thing. Police officers want civilians to turn on, to give them information on any crimes or anything that has happened in the community, so they can do their investigation. If you don't, you get charged for not helping them, or for not turning on your partner if y'all did the crime together. But yet police are not held up to the same standard. As gangs are in the street, and this I was told from a sheriff, that all police departments are gangs. They're just sanctioned gangs by the government. Likewise, street gangs are not sanctioned gangs, which means they're illegal. Going back to what you said about the only reason why we knew about what happened to Fred Hampton and the assassination is because of the black police department, police officers that brought it out. We need more of these black police officers now in this day and age to bring out the truth. We need more police officers, period, to do the job as requires you to do. You made an oath to serve and protect, serve and protect. If your fellow officer is doing wrong, follow the guidelines, follow the protocols, follow the procedures. Without the paper trail, we cannot prove, we cannot remove, both on and off the job, in and out of the police department.
Of that night. And then, of course, we know about the murder of Laquan McDonald and how many years it took before the video was actually released. And
again, ladies, what does all this has to do with the price of tea in China? Or should I say, the never-ending lies of Jussie Smollett?
Before we were able to see the behavior of the Chicago Police Department. And then, of course, we know about the torture of over 100 black men over the last decades by this same Chicago Police Department.
Wow.
Now, why should we now believe the Chicago Police Department when they bring these?
We should believe them because we all agree Jussie Smollett is a liar.
Charges against Jussie Smollett. I just want us to think not only about Jussie, who is a beautiful human being and whom I...
How many times are you going to tell us that Jussie's a beautiful human being? We know Jussie's a beautiful human being. We know Jussie's gay. We know Jussie's black. We know he's also white. We get it, ladies. But can you get to the point of why did Jussie Smollett lie? That's what we want to know. Why did he lie? And why are you continuing to cover up the lie?
I've known for a very long time, but I want to think. I want us to think about what is at stake. Our awareness, our collective consciousness of the.
Our awareness is up. Our consciousness is aware that you're a liar.
Need to dismantle police departments for some.
No. We don't need to dismantle no damn police departments. That's some bullshit.
Precisely because of this structural racism.
We don't need to dismantle the police departments. We need to reorganize police departments. We need to go in, figure out what is wrong with the police departments, develop a plan, new protocols, and everything else to go along with it. At the end of the day, we have to put the proper people in there who are going to be fair, because equal and fair are two different things. We will never be equal, but we can be treated fairly. And this is what we need to start understanding. Fairness and equal are different. We will never be equal, but we could treat each other fairly. And what this woman is saying now is that she wants to be treated equal, but she doesn't want to have the fairness. Because if we want to be fair, This right here is bullshit and it's lies.
Only is as beautiful a city as Chicago is, the CPD is considered the racist police terror capital of the country, if not the world.
I want everybody to listen to this. This woman just stated a bunch of facts. And because she had us with her facts, she wanted to come around the back door and come in and now hit us with this bullshit blatant lie.
Wow.
And not only did they engage in this pattern and practice of...
I didn't know that.
And as you see, both Sway and his co-host both say they also did not know that.
Sorry?
I didn't know that.
We didn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't know that.
No one knew because it's a lie.
Yeah.
Yep. Not only did they engage in this, had the police department over the decades engaged in this pattern and practice of all manner of abuse against black men, especially whether a character assassination.
As you see, I wrote, I'm confused. Then why not go after them for the things you can prove to be true instead of wasting your time, wasting your valuable time trying to prop up a clear lie?
As here, or an actual assassination, as in the Fred Hampton case that Angelo talked about, or the more recent Laquan McDonald case, or the torture case. Not only did they engage in these heinous crimes, these crimes against humanity, but they engaged in an elaborate cover-up of their crime. And in Jussie's case, we see a cover-up and a frame-up.
Here we go. Going back to the script. Now that she gave you the real facts for what really happened with everyone else, and now she's going back to the BS script to try to prop up the lies of Jussie Smollett.
An elaborate cover-up of an actual hate crime and an elaborate frame-up.
Lies, lies, and more lies.
Of a hate crime hoax. So this is, part of their pattern and practice that we have during the actual hate crime. Jussie's attackers yelled racial and homophobic epithets, and the two Nigerian brothers who attacked him at the direction of a white person who we video and who we will hear about when Jussie testifies and when the Sheridan security guard testifies.
Wait a minute. I'm confused. In the beginning, you said that there were witnesses said that there were white men that were running and chasing after Jussie Smollett. Now you say the Sunder Brothers was hired by a white man to run down, beat up, and do all this stuff to Jussie Smollett. But if there were racist white men, why would you hire black men to attack a black man? Doesn't make sense. Then you say at the trial, we were going to find out that there was a white man that hired the Sunder Brothers, the Nigerian brothers, to attack Jussie Smollett. This is the only thing, ladies, that you said through this whole interview that I wholeheartedly agree with you with. Yes, the Sunder Brothers were hired by a white man to attack Jussie Smollett. And unfortunately, ladies, the white man that hired these Nigerian brothers to attack Jussie Smollett is Jussie Smollett.
These guys were homophobes, and at the trial yesterday, they were cross-examined, or the older brother was cross-examined about his multiple just heinous tweets and text messages and other social media posts.
And if no one has realized, as you see, these ladies is on a black show with the black host and co-host. These ladies are black. Jussie Smollett is black. The Nigerian brothers are truly black because they're from Nigeria. They're African. They're from Nigeria. They are black. They're blackity black. They are full black. These ladies look like they are biracial. Jussie Smollett, we know, is biracial. The Sunder Brothers are the only true black full blood blacks in this thing, and now these ladies are tapping into their quote unquote white side, and now are conducting a smear campaign against these Sunder brothers. Well, I'm gonna call them Nigerian brothers because I'm gonna fuck their names up. But I'm gonna tell you this: we're gonna pause this for a minute. When these ladies went and start talking about the criminal background of their Sunder brothers and the guns and drugs and everything else, I had to say this. If the Sunder brothers, I don't care what it is, if you have an illegal gun and you get caught with an illegal gun, I don't care where you at, you're going to jail for that gun. You're going to do some time for having an illegal gun. So evidently the gun was not illegal. So with these ladies saying this, I like to go, because I don't like taking people's word for it, especially when you start lying to me too many times, too many lies to me. I got red flags. I got to start pulling cards and start doing investigations. So I looked into this and I came across this story right here. It's from CBS Chicago. Y'all know these brothers' names. I'm going to call them the Nigerian brothers, but you can clearly see what their names are right there. It said brothers will get back most of items seized from their home during Jussie Smollett investigation. Right here it say a dispute over the handling of the items that were seized led to the Sunder brothers to announce Wednesday they would no longer cooperate in the case, only to change their minds on Thursday after Special Prosecutor Dan Webb helped locate a 9mm handgun taken during the raid. Now, I will say this, reading that first line right there, you can see the Sunder brothers agreed to work with the prosecutors, but once their property went missing, they said they called bullshit. We ain't working with you. And as you see, that special prosecutor had to come in because now they want to sit here and blame all this stuff on that special prosecutor. But Dan Webb, the special prosecutor, is the one that came in and got shit in order. He went and got the Sunder brothers their shit back. He went and made sure that Jussie Smollett got charged. He went and made sure that they went and became witnesses like they were supposed to. Now, let's go on to the next paragraph in this. That, again, we get from the CBS Chicago. They said, now, wait, but before we get there, and after the Sunder brothers got their stuff back, now they decided to play nice with the prosecutors. As you see, if you think back, this is when they say they was going to play, wasn't going to play. Now we're playing. Now we see why they wasn't playing with the prosecution now. We see now why. Going right along. It said on Friday, Cook County, James Lynn Rude, most of the items seized during the raid, including the Sunder brothers' guns, would be returned to them because they were not relevant to the disorderly conduct charge against Smallett. Now, the ladies say now because of the investigation, they had to go and collect all evidence. If you have guns, drugs, whatever's in the house, they're going to take everything and I guess decide later once they get back down after the investigation is over. This is what they do. They hold everything until they keep what is pertinent. What is not, they return back to you. And as you see, this judge said they kept what was pertinent, but the guns and everything else, it said right there. Cook County, James Lynn Rude, most of the items seized during the raid, including guns, would be returned. The guns went back to the Sunder brothers. What else they kept, I don't know. But what they care about, what we care about, they give them the guns back. So what this lady is talking about is bullshit. Moving right along. What I found interesting, though, was this. As you see, the judge say that the guns was not relevant to the case. None of that was relevant to the case. But here, let's say this. Smallett's attorney had sought to have the guns tested for the Sunder's brother fingerprints. because he has a criminal record and is not allowed to possess any firearms. However, Lynn ruled the guns have no relevance to the Smallett case. As you see, they tried their hardest to smear these black African brothers. And yet no one is wanting to point this out. Jussie Smollett lied. Clear lie. Full lie. And it says the only items that will remain in police custody will be a ski mask, red hat, and electric devices that are potential evidence in the Smallett case, not the guns. The guns ain't got nothing to do with this case. They don't care about them guns. They care about that ski mask, red hat, electronic devices. So, lady, what are you talking about?
Homophobic slurs. And I want to also, I know I'm going on a little bit, but terms, he was stomping the pavement for anti-Trump candidates. He was calling Trump out at every opportunity.
Right.
He was in Georgia, for example, supporting Stacey Abrams. And this clearly got the attention of the racist supporters of Trump, and there are quite a few.
This right here was nothing but lies. Everything these women spoke were lies. Jussie Smollett was not attacked. The government is not against him. As we can see, because Kim Fox was trying to make sure that that he did not go to jail. The police were not against him. We are not against him. The LGBT community is not against him. The white community is not against him. None of us are against him. We all were with him, but he lied. You ladies are lying. You have strong history in the fight for civil rights, black rights, and everything else. But for your friendship, you're willing to put your reputation on the line for your friendship. You're willing to destroy your legacy for a lie. These Nigerian brothers did not deserve, as you say, the vicar or vigor or whatever it was you want to try to put on Jussie Smollett. They don't deserve this. They don't deserve for you to try to make them out to be criminals. These Nigerian brothers were paid by Jussie Smollett to attack him. They did a dry run. They did a practice run. It was on video, but you didn't mention that. You want to hide. You want to say that the prosecution hid facts, and you're now hiding facts. And what's worse than the prosecution hiding facts from the people is you, an elder, an African-American woman, a so-called black queen, lying to the children, lying to the community to prop up this lie. We have no problem to stand behind the truth, as you can see from the riots, from the protests. But this right here, we will never back this. This is wrong. Racism is real. Bigotry is real. We don't have to create an imaginary enemy. We have a real enemy. What Jussie Smollett did was wrong. These ladies backing it is wrong. Us as a people need to call all of our so-called leaders to the table. We need to recertify all of them, because this shit right here, enough is enough. We ain't taking this no more. And again, my name is Akish Aklord Mullins. You heard what I had to say about this.